David Clement. I grew up in Brownsville. I live in Bells, Tennessee now. I went to high school here, moved away several years ago, not very far away, but I live in Bells. My brother is Eddie Clement, or Harrell Edward Clement II, who's several years younger than me and passed away in December of 2020. He's the creator of this film, Feelin Called the Blues, that has never been shown publicly before. It's about Sleepy John Estes and Hammie Nixon. And the background of some of their lives is narrated in the film. Eddie created this film in 1976, the latter part of '76, and put it together in 1977. At the time, he was working for Channel 13 WHBQ in Memphis as a news photographer, and I have no idea where he got the interest in Sleepy John, other than the fact that he was well known in Brownsville. All of us as kids saw him on the sidewalks of Brownsville being led around by his grandchildren, and knew the sort of the backstory of his musician's travels and the music that he wrote and sang. And somewhere in that period of time growing up, he had got interested in it, and after he went to work for Channel 13 and had the equipment available to make this film, he did it. It's never been shown publicly before. Eddie was the baby of the family. He was several years behind all the other three of us. He got interested in photography when he was in high school. Worked on the school newspaper at Haywood High School. At the age of about 15, he had a weekend radio show on the local radio station here, and got interested in broadcasting then. He got into photography, doing weddings and things like that. He was interested in doing a lot of black and white work, nature shots, just anything that he could find to take pictures of, he would. He went to Memphis State, or University of Memphis it is now, he was in his fourth year when he was offered a job at WHBQ television, Channel 13 in Memphis, which was across the street from the campus. Went to work there as a news photographer. He worked there for several years. From there, he went to University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, and worked in the PR department doing actual still photography and film photography. Anything that they had as far as publicizing things at the school, he developed and helped edit the coaches shows for two different coaches at Ole Miss. Worked there for several years. Then got a job with a TV station in Fort Myers, Florida. This was in the late 70s, early 80s. He was head photographer there. Then he opened his own photo studio in Fort Myers, doing commercial, medical, aerial photos, film, video then came into being for several clients there in Fort Myers, then traveled the whole country doing work for his photo studio. He's done work in Mexico, several foreign countries, all over the United States. Has met a lot of interesting people, photographed and filmed a lot of well-known people. And at that time he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, which led to him having to sell his business, close his business, and went into a kind of decline physically and as well as mentally. When Eddie created and filmed this documentary of Sleepy John and Hammie Nixon, he was 23 years old. He passed away. When he passed away this past December, he was 66. In the film, it shows shots of Beale Street, the cotton exchange area of Memphis that was in a decline at that time. The Peabody Hotel was closed then. And anybody that knows Memphis now, Beale Street is the place to be. The Peabody is in its glory days now. It's been rebuilt and refurbished, and it's nothing like it was then. I was aware of the film. I had seen it when he first showed it to the family. He showed it to several friends that he worked with and acquaintances over the years. And like I said earlier, it had never been shown publicly. And I really wanted it to be shown, especially in this venue that Brownsville, Haywood County has, the Delta Heritage Center. It's the place that I think it should be, because I can look right out that window right there and see Sleepy John's house. In the film, the shots of Sleepy John singing and Hammie playing the kazoo were made in that house at its original location. But it's just something that's part of the history of Haywood County. And I just wanted it shown locally because of his connection to Haywood County and the fact that it's history. Eddie did all the work on the film. He shot it, he edited it, created his own company, copyrighted it. It was narrated by someone that he knew in Memphis. And the original film was made on or produced on 16 millimeter film. It has been changed a couple of times. It's probably might have gone to videotape and then to DVD, but it's not in its original form. It's been reproduced at least once from another type of media. So the fact that it's dated, to me, adds a little ambiance to the film, and the fact that Sleepy John died the year that Eddie put it together. And it's probably the last film and images of he and Sleepy John, of Hammie and Sleepy John together singing. John didn't get the credit, especially locally, that was due him. I mean, he traveled all over the world and is well known in the blues arena, I guess you could say. And he has been studied by different people at different universities and documented what he did and the songs that he wrote and sang. One of the songs on the video is Corina, Corina, and he and Sleepy John he and Hammie Nixon are in another song, and they go right from that song to Corina, Corina. He told my brother Eddie that he wrote that song, but if you research it on the internet or YouTube or wherever, Google it, it says author of Corina, Corina is unknown. And there are people who recorded it back in the 20s and 30s that got credit for recording the song, but there's nowhere it says that Sleepy John wrote it, but he told my brother he wrote Corina, Corina. And numerous people have recorded that song. I just hope that anybody that sees this will enjoy it and realize it as a part of the history of blues, history of Sleepy John Estes and Hammie Nixon, and the history of Brownsville and Haywood County, Tennessee. It's just one of several well-known people who came out of either this county or this region. There are just numerous people, and I think it is a tribute to not only Sleepy John, but to my brother.
house gets frail.
King Cotton, Beale Street, and the blues. Factors that established and distinguished Memphis as a landmark city of the South. Because of its location on the bluffs of the Mississippi River, it soon became a busy and bustling cotton exporting center for the Mid-South. Cotton, or white gold as it was known, soon provided a basis for the economic expansion and cultural growth for the Memphis area. A byproduct from the plantations and cotton fields of the South was slave music. It conveyed the story of hard times and suffering experienced by the American Negro. From this pain and sorrow was born a style of music, which carried with it a simple message that was easily understood. It came to light here in Memphis, on Beale Street, and was called the blues. In recent years, however, many ways of the old South have disappeared with the decline of the cotton, some never to return. The riverfront in the early years was the main artery for travel and shipment of cotton, agricultural goods, and passengers in and out of Memphis. Bales of cotton, mules, and manufactured goods from cities such as Cincinnati and St. Louis were unloaded and stockpiled along the waterfront. Today, however, most goods and passengers travel by air, rail, or by highway, leaving the cobblestone landing to serve as parking space for downtown workers. The iron ring that once held old paddle wheelers at bay while they were unloaded now see only diesel-powered replicas or riverboats plowing the waters, carrying sightseers. This is Cotton Row as it appeared in its prime, the center of buying and selling action of cotton commodities. It was, in fact, the Mid-South version of Wall Street. Housed here were several cotton brokerage firms and the home of the Mid-South Cotton Exchange. The fall of 1976 saw the exchange building become empty, its furnishings sold at auction. A few businesses still hang on in this historic block of Front Street, but it seems their days may also be numbered. It was once said about this grand hotel that the Mississippi Delta started in the lobby of the Peabody and spread south, ending somewhere near Vicksburg. Once the gathering place for the elite of Memphis, it now stands empty, closed in 1975, a victim of decreased patronage and rising costs. And what of the most famous street in all the music world, Beale Street? As the birthplace of the blues, it was the hot spot and nightlife showcase for black Memphis society. But during the 60s and the early 70s, this most outstanding landmark fell into ruin. What had once served as the home of some of the biggest blues greats had fallen prey to neglect and public disinterest.
Now, when I say sugar, I don't mean the sugar that's put in tea. I mean that sugar straighten up Beale Street. Sugar. Oh, sugar can't be beat. Put in tea. Oh, that sugar, straighten up Beale Street. better be careful.
Even though many of the original blues greats are gone, blues music lives on, but has had to take on many changes to ensure its existence in the form of soul, jazz, gospel, and rock. But in a small town not very far from Memphis, one of the old South bluesmen is still playing his style of down-home blues music. Born in Lauderdale County, Tennessee in 1900, the son of a farm worker, John Estes moved to Brownsville at the age of 11. With his first guitar fashioned from a cigar box and wire, he learned to play and sing with nearby neighbors and friends.
Got a little cigar box and guitar, you know, I meant to say them drum, the wire on it. I stretched across there, say, bedside, and learned how to tune it. I had one string from New York, with one string from there until I finally come in playing myself.
He began his musical travel at 12 with the help of a friend who took him to Memphis and introduced him to the blues sound.
He took me down to Memphis. And I said, why you take that boy? Oh, I came out, he played pretty good tonight. He said he's too little to be out that way. So I had to start from that day and started playing myself.
As to his immediate liking to the blues, John will tell you it just come natural to him. Blinded in a childhood accident, John directed his energies full time to his first love, music. John played at church socials, parties, and picnics in the Brownsville area. While playing at a Saturday picnic, he heard an 11-year-old boy blowing his harp to the music, and he told him to just get in here with me. John liked him so well, he persuaded him to play at a nearby fish fry later that night. Amid protests from the boy's mother, John carried him to Brownsville, promising to have him home by the next day, Sunday. John did bring the boy back on Sunday, but it was a Sunday 6 months later. And his partners of 58 years, Hammie Nixon, said,
I'd done going to kind of lacking it, you know, a little bit then. So I was ready to go then. It got me started rambling around myself. I flew around and got Holborn, run off and went to Holborn.
So at the age of 11, Hammie became a hobo. While playing in a traveling medicine show in Chicago and needing a guitar player, Hammie returned to Brownsville to find John, and together they began to ride the rails. To John, this form of travel was new and very frightening. According to him, when it came to playing the odds,
I was old, but he's brave. He'd take all kinds of chances.
Hammie was the one who took all the chances. During one of their first trips, their train stopped in Dyersburg to take on water when John discovered his hands had become chapped and sore from the wind. Cold and unsure of what was coming next, John decided it was time to go home, telling Hammie,
He said, my hands so, but I said, I ain't gonna fool that freight train. I'm gonna get up on top of it.
The problem was soon remedied by Hammie's finding John a boxcar whose door had been left open. Together they traveled much of the South and Northeast, working at odd jobs and becoming part of the Depression's hobo community where John earned the nickname Sleepy. But the hardships they encountered in their travel, the bad weather, dodging railroad policemen, and playing one-night stand became material from which they would later write many of their songs. These experiences also formed a partnership that has spanned over 5 decades. During those years, Hammie has served as John's business partner, his musical sidekick, his eyes, and most of all, his friend. John explains how he comes by the blues so easy.
I've been where I wanted. I didn't take heed at the time. I lost my health and gone stone blind. When you lose your eyesight, your best friend gone. Sometimes your own people don't want to fool you long. You want to know your friend, just get down. They always ask you, but still ain't coming around.
night, about 10:30. I put the key in the hole, you know, I couldn't get it in, you know. Somebody done changed. Somebody done changed that lock on my door. You know that key you got, yeah, it just won't fit no more. Went to my one now, see what I could see. There's my bed spring popping, you know. No, it wasn't on of me. Somebody done changed. Somebody done changed that lock on my door. You know that key you got. Yeah, it done got in the place, it won't fit no more. Somebody done changed. Somebody done changed that lock on my door. You know that key you got. Yeah, you know it just won't fit no more. Somebody done changed that lock on my door.
Sleepy John Estes sings about the things he has seen and heard, places he's been and people he's met. He sings about hard times, cheap booze, and love that didn't go quite right. His travels have been extensive. He has played his music everywhere, from before the royalty of Europe to crowded smoke-filled bar rooms of the rural South. If you ask John how many songs he has cut for the record industry, how many personal appearances and concert dates he's performed, he will pause and reflect on his years as a blues artist, then tell you there are too many to remember. But in spite of the widespread fame, there have been problems with copyright infringements and vague performance contracts, which have left John a victim of questionable management practices. As a result, Sleepy John Estes is now on welfare in Haywood County, Tennessee. Few of the original bluesmen like John are still active. When these are gone, with them will go the last remaining remnants of the Old South. Then only their music will remain. Webster's dictionary defines blues as a song sung or composed in a style originating among the American Negroes, expressing melancholy and exhibiting continual occurrences of blues notes in melody and harmony. But if you ask Sleepy John about the blues, he'll tell you that they are more of a feeling.
And blues will make you feel good, make you pacify your mind. That's the way I feel.